G'day van builders, hope you are all well and welcome to the plus 10 video from the 2 plus 10 playlist on the channel, building a camper van a slightly different way. And of course what we mean by that is we're building out the interior of the camper van before we've actually got the base van itself, completely opposite way to which I've done it in the past. Okay, look, if you're new to the channel, I don't want to bore the regular subscribers. There's a link up there you can click on to tell you why we're doing it this way, some of the techniques I've got to deploy, some nuances around design, etc. It might be of use to you if for some reason you feel you need to build your van out this way. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be building out the wet room, the shower and loo sort of cubicle that's going to be eventually fitting in the medium wheelbase base van that we buy. It's going to have to be in modular form. I'm going to have to think about some of the things I don't know about the forthcoming van and incorporate that in the design. But what I want to do is get as much built out as I can, so there's less to do when we get the actual van itself. So less of the waffle, let's crack on. So those of you who saw the video made where I was experimenting with novel materials, there's a link up there if you want to have a look, probably one at the end as well. I was looking at different sort of materials that aren't normally used in camper van construction. And you may remember I was playing with that honeycomb shower screen material and found that if I cut one skin I could form it into a curve. Well, I've now done this for real to follow the shape of the van. I made a template of the van, the target van, and this is what I've got. So you can see that I've made a former, and here you can see I've cut the shower screen along the honeycomb and put clamps there, sort of brackets there, just to hold it in position. And then where those I've made those cuts, I opened up them slightly with a little mini router and put filler in there, and so that's now gone hard. And what I've dismantled up, I'm hoping I'm going to retain most of that shape. And we can look inside and you can see it's formed quite nicely around the curve there. Now, one of the things I've got to do with this wet room, which is basically a combined shower loo, is to make it in kit form so I can take it apart, put it in storage, and when we get the vehicle, rebuild it. Okay, so that adds to a little bit of complications, but I'll take you through that as we go. Now, the end bulkhead is going to be part of the construct, and it's in two parts. There's the bit that I've got at the moment, which is forming the shape, and there'll be another piece basically butt joined onto that, and that will be set to the right size to effectively fill the gap between the kitchen cabinet and the edge of the shower screen. Now that's quite a substantial bit of ply because it's also used for hanging stuff in the boot. And the other end will be the half stalk material I was playing with in that video as well, and I'll be putting a waterproof liner on them both. We'll talk about that as we get into the build. Okay, so let's just quickly build out the wet room. Et voila, le petit ensuite. Okay, right, so I think I've gone about as far as I can go, about probably 90% of the way there. There's some key things that I can't do until I get into the van, and I knew that. A couple of things I'd hoped to do before I got into the van, I still decide I can't do. Primarily, that is the straps that attach the structural bulkheads to the ribs of the van. I know some people like to line out and screw into that. As I said previously, my preference is to tie the stuff into the actual ribs on the van. But okay, let's have a look. Right, I've got a temporary battery up there, so we've got some lights in there. I'm definitely going to have to do something about that. I'm going to put a night mode on that because those LEDs will keep me awake at night, I'm sure. But let's have a look. Just want to say a little bit about the liner. Looking in at that, of course, at the back you've got that structural honeycomb shower screen, but on the side you can just about see it on the left hand side, and we'll get a better look later on. What I've used everywhere else just to sit against the wood is PVC ceiling cladding. It's 8mm thick, it's very, very light, slots together like a tongue and groove. I just put a little bit of silicone on the beads as I join them, and I've actually used that in my existing van's wet room. So one of the things I knew I'd have to do in the van was, of course, the gap. So this is all in panel form. It's going to collapse down until go into storage until we get the van. So all the joints between the panels need to be filled. I'm just going to use that standard bathroom corner ceiling tape you can get all the way around. Okay, so this module here, that obviously is sitting over the rear arch, and that's the shower tray. That is all one module. and when that's in and bolted into the structure, again, tape all the way around with the bath joining tape. I've got non-slip tape to go onto the bottom where the actual shower tray is, so that I don't slip. I don't want to put it on because it'll just get grubby. The actual shower tray itself, I quite simply made out of plywood, and I tanked it with fiberglass and flow coat over the top, because there's no way I was going to be able to get it off the shelf that fitted my purpose. So, yep, all good in there. Right, I'm going to break my own rules now and use a handheld because it's the only way I can do this. So take a look inside. You can see I've got most of the furniture on there ready to go, and all the electrics are basically in the panel above the roof panel. Above the roof panel, you see I've got the lights in there, an extractor fan, and also in those LED strips there's a night lights embedded in, which will come on automatically when that PIR there is triggered when I walk in at night. And that's because I don't want the full lights at night, like Wembley Stadium, to wake me up. Okay, and that's basically it. Right, time to dismantle, get it down storage, and on with the next project. Okay, so if only it were that quick. Right, well look, got to break it down now and get into storage to move on for the next stage. Thanks for watching. If you could do the old like and subscribe nonsense, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next one.